Big fluff.
Do you know how hard it was to find you? I was at your apartment. I tried the Starbucks on Lexington. I was at the dry cleaner. All I am asking for is a few minutes of your time so that we can work things out.
Okay, Jesus, you are stalking me now.
Don't say that, please. That's a terrible thing to say to somebody.
Let go of me, Kendall.
Look, I thought we could talk. You know, maybe we could take a drive, and now you are ruining it.
You're hurting me.
Kendall, I think you're having another off day.
Who the hell are you?
I'm her future.
Really?
Hi, my name's Chris. You okay, Kendall? See, the thing is, I feel connected. But I don't know the reason why. See, now listen. I think it's only fair that you pay for the ladies' breakfast. Well, what are you having? Pecan pie's amazing.
Beef!
Hey everybody, I'm Joel Murphy.
And I'm Andy McIntyre.
And we are your future.
That's a baller line. I'm just going to say that. That's baller line. Early silver lining.
I mean, it's a big swing, but then granted, I guess this whole movie is about how he knows how that was going to go. So, you know, he knew that it would melt Jessica Biel.
Except it didn't work.
That's true. He had to get punched in the face in order for it to work. Also, this is Silver Linings Playback,
effect.
the podcast where we watch maligned movies and we find their silver linings.
And it's another Nick Cage month drawing to a close,
which is always a sad time.
You know, it's fast become my favorite month of the year, Nicolas Cage month.
Yeah. No, for sure. And again, as we talked about, I mean, we've been abstaining from our pumpkin spice lattes and all other markers of fall. So I think in that regard, it'll be nice to finally get the chance to partake of spooky
to have
season.
A cider donut.
Spooky season, Andy. We can do spooky season.
Ooh, spooky season.
Yeah.
Cool.
You seem excited.
Cool. I'm not a big Halloween guy, in all honesty.
No? You don't like getting all dressed up?
Fine. No.
You don't like free candy?
Okay. Now let's not be too hasty here.
I mean, those are the things that you do. You dress up and you get free candy, so I'm not understanding what you don't like.
It's been a long time since people have given me free candy when I've been wearing a costume.
So that's what you're mad about.
I guess we've figured it out, yeah.
So, look, if you see Andy in the street, give him free candy.
Yeah, just
here's what
anything.
you do. Everyone listening, get a van, drive it around, and when you find Andy, offer him free candy inside your van.
Yeah, because when has that ever gone awry?
No, it's a good plan. And you should write on the side free candy to make it clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it has to be a plain white van with free candy written on the side.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be too distracting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was like a regular like Suburban or something like that.
Yeah, don't do that.
No. So yeah, drive around. I'm a teacher, so probably check out the local schools when you do this. And I can't see it going badly.
No, I can't. Look, but in fairness, we don't have the ability to see 2 minutes into our own future. So
no,
we can't.
If we did, we could tell you how good or bad this idea would be potentially.
But you're going to have to find out for yourself.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So yeah, anyway, the movie is next. That's what we're watching. It's our final movie of Nicolas Cage month. A big swing, big blockbuster movie. That, yeah, as I just suggested, it's about Nicolas Cage plays a magician who he has the ability to see 2 minutes into his own future, which is a pretty terrible, like, X-Men power.
But, you know, it's not valueless.
It's not valueless, but it's very niche.
So what the movie doesn't really address is he just constantly peering 2 minutes into the future, or does he have to consciously do it?
Well, that's what's funny.
That's a little ambiguous.
Yeah, it's funny because the movie simultaneously explains exactly what his power is and never explains how it works because, like, for example, in you know, Doctor Strange kind of can do a similar thing when he has the time stone in the Avengers movies, but like we see how that works. He like twigs out and he shakes and he looks into the future and he has to take time to see all possible futures. But like, yeah, Nick Cage, it's weird that like, because he can like dodge bullets and stuff, which means like a real time ability to pivot. So yeah, I don't understand if he's like living 2 minutes in the future at all times, and then he can, like, it's almost like he can time travel backwards, is the way this movie implies it, that like he's always just living in the future, and then if he sees something he doesn't like, he can go back 2 minutes and do something different.
Yeah, it's almost like he's living his life at 2 minutes per second instead of 1 second per second, the way we all live life.
Right. Or yeah, that he can just process 2 minutes of information ahead of time at all times. But
maybe the Philip K. Dick short story explains it better. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it doesn't, but
you know what I bet it does? Gets Out. You know?
Yeah.
It does it. I'm sure it sets up the premise, does whatever it's going to do, and then it's done. And this was like, there's 90 minutes here.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie is based on The Goldman, I believe is the name of the story.
Or Golden Man. It's something like that.
Or The Golden Man.
Yeah. Which is why Nicolas Cage wears a golden jacket at the end of this movie.
Yeah. So I want to confess, speaking of his gold jacket, a little bit of my ADHD and how it affected this movie. So when we first meet Nicolas Cage, he's introduced as a seedy Vegas strip magician named Frank Cadillac. And I'm like, that's the Nicolas Cageest name ever. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, it's revealed that his name is Chris Johnson. And I'd completely forgotten that he was Frank Cadillac. I was like, man, that's a boring name. Why didn't they give his character a better name?
They also explain, well, he explains that he picked the name because it's two of his favorite things, which are Frankenstein and Cadillacs.
He does love Frankenstein and Cadillacs.
And when you hear that Nicolas Cage suggested that the character be a Las Vegas magician, it seems 100% plausible that he came up with the name Frank Cadillac.
Yeah. It would not surprise me in any way that he came up with the name Frank Cadillac.
I'll do it if you name my character Frank Cadillac. No.
Which is in his rider for every movie.
He always pitches it. And the thing is, he'd be willing to do it otherwise. But then this is the one time where they're like,
just
sure.
in case.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that also, I mean, it is funny that it's like I picked my fake name using a thing that I love, Frankenstein, when he's Nicolas Cage and he picked his fake last name from Luke Cage. So it is very on brand.
Yeah. But Nicholas is his real name. So it wasn't Chris Cadillac, which arguably better than Frank Cadillac.
Chris
Has
Cadillac.
the alliteration thing happening.
Chris Cadillac was a hell of a DJ in the 1950s. Chris Cadillac, everybody, playing the hits. Stay here
It's
on
KPPJ with Chris Cadillac. Spinning all the top hits from Bill Haley to Elvis Presley.
his next one by request. Hound Dog.
The Big Bopper.
Yeah, 100%. That's Chris Cadillac.
He also did jobs on WWF superstars in the 1980s.
Hogan's just
got
making
beat by
short
Earthquake.
work of Chris Cadillac. Chris Cadillac never had a chance.
Listen, pal. Chris Cadillac just getting squashed by the earthquake. What a maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both are true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That Chris Cadillac was both a 1950s radio DJ and a jobber in the 1980s WWF.
Those are the sliding doors of Chris Cadillac's life.
One is Chris Cadillac Jr. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did it. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Sorry, no, I saw 2 minutes into the future and it doesn't get any better. So we should just stop here.
Well, it's not going to get better because I think we have to get in the weeds on the plot. Because
No, we do. We definitely do.
I think, and I'm curious where you are to start. I thought this movie started, and when he was evading the Vegas security by just knowing exactly what they were going to do, I was in. I'm like, okay.
That was fun.
Yeah. And I was like, I can be down with this movie where it's basically Nicolas Cage is Bill Murray at the end of Groundhog Day, where he's just lived the day so many times he knows everything that's going to happen. I'm in for that. But I think.
But it's also an episode of 24.
Yeah, totally. But I think where the movie lost me and where I have to imagine it varies greatly from the Philip K. Dick story is for some reason they took the premise of guy can see 2 minutes into his own future and then they made it a terrorist plot, which is already like, okay, but then the actual plot of this movie is so, and this is what I would guess is in the story, is that the only thing that he sees beyond 2 minutes is Jessica Biel. Like he knows that he will meet her in a diner at a specific time. So he keeps going to that diner in order to see her because he doesn't know the day. And
it's weird that he goes to the diner at 8:09, but he goes at AM and PM. Like he doesn't know.
Yeah, he can't tell if it's light or dark outside.
I mean, I guess Vegas, baby.
I mean, those windows it was full of windows, that restaurant. And like,
yeah, it was a 50s style diner. It was Frank Cadillac's 50s diner.
Come on and get a patty melt down at Frank Cadillac's.
Get a short stack and 2 eggs any way you want them at Frank Cadillac's 50s style diner.
Wait, aren't I Chris Cadillac? I think I'm Chris Cadillac. I think we forgot the bit.
It's okay. We nailed it.
That's fine. But yeah, it was day. It was definitely during the day. And then we saw that it was during the day. I don't know why he can't tell day and night.
Well, they had excellent pecan pie. So
that's
maybe
true.
He just got a slice.
So yeah, there's that part, which I imagine is in the story. He sees this girl and she's his destiny. And that's the one thing that he knows beyond 2 minutes. But yeah, then there's this whole terrorist plot. And I think the wildest thing is, so Julianne Moore gets wise to this guy can see into the future. She also knows there's a terrorist plot. She devotes all of her resources to finding this magician that she believes is psychic. Like it's
the best job Julianne Moore's ever done at playing a federal agent.
But like just throws out everything else. There's no plan B. All of the resources of the Federal Bureau of Investigation are thrown behind finding a like a fucking Vegas magician. And they seem to have trouble locating him.
Well, because you can see 2 minutes into the future. So he's always a step ahead.
Yeah. But he does make sure to be memorable to guys at Shutdown Roads and say the thing they're going to say ahead of them so they'll remember him and where he's going. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
No.
I want to assume that the short story is more well thought out. This movie, it literally feels like a script for 24 mixed with the premise of a Philip K. Dick story.
Right. Yeah, that's 100% what it is. But here's what I really want to talk about, though. So, okay, Julianne Moore is trying to track him down. That's dumb, but that's what we're doing. Here's the part that I didn't understand, and I want to know if you understood. Why the fuck are the terrorists trying to get him?
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Like, they have a nuclear weapon that they're going to set off in California. Even if they were like, oh shit, there's this psychic guy that the FBI is trying to get, just set the bomb off. Just set it off right now.
The only thing, like, it could have made sense if the guy that he prevented from robbing the casino was one of the terrorists.
Right.
That could have linked it in, but it didn't.
No. Or here's what, like, I think a better version of the movie might have done too is maybe Jessica Biel was somehow actually tied into the plot, and they weren't after him at all, but like she actually is a security guard at the place that they're going to put the bomb in or something. So like she's actually their mark, and
or the president's daughter, whatever.
Or yeah, who cares? Like the whole plot is stupid. It doesn't matter, but just to at least make sense so that I can follow it while I'm watching it. Yeah, she's someone important. And he is seeing visions of her, not knowing why, but it's actually related to the terrorist plot. The terrorists are never interested in him, because why would they be? That's insane.
But they are interested in him so the movie can happen.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that's the dumbest part of the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Like there's no reason for them to even be aware that he exists, let alone care.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. Or like even if they had like a mole inside the FBI and he was like, no, they got this guy that can see the future. We got to take him out. Something.
I guess. Yeah. But instead,
I'm not saying that's a good idea. I'm saying it's better than what we got.
Instead, the best we get is that they murder the lady who lives across the street from the FBI building, and through binoculars, they can watch Julianne Moore. That's a real plot point in this movie.
That is indeed a thing that happens in the movie.
I'm curious about this, what you think of this. I actually think the better version of this movie would be, you've seen the movie Starman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually think Starman would have been a better, like, no terrorists, no nuclear bomb plot. And instead, it's a guy who has a special power that the government becomes aware of, because we do the opening scene. That still happens. The Vegas scene. They become aware of him. He tries to evade them. He runs into Jessica Biel, who decides that she loves him and trusts him and is going to help him escape the FBI, who is trying to track him down, because our government, as they always do, they think this guy could be helpful. So they just want to kidnap him. And he's just trying to escape with Jessica Biel, who started out as a stranger, but then falls in love with him, which is basically, like I said, the plot of Starman. Do that.
Yeah. And that's just like your opinion. It's Jeff Bridges, too. That's the other thing that makes it Starman. It's not Nick Cage. Or it's Jeff Bridges or Nick Cage doing Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I can see 2 minutes into the future in a cave. Box of straps.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'd watch that movie.
No, that's an infinitely better movie. And I'd be shocked if that wasn't the Philip K. Dick story. I'm not going to find out, but...
No, look, much like the first Garfield movie, we will never read this Philip K. Dick story. We will never find out what it was about.
There are two things we'll never do. Watch Garfield 1 and read The Golden Man by Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Side note, is there an author that more routinely has his work misunderstood as it's adapted into Hollywood movies than Philip K. Dick?
I mean, there's probably got to be, but he's up there.
He's on the list, though.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess you could probably technically count Shakespeare, but...
I mean, I think Stephen King thinks his work is, he hates The Shining. So it's definitely happened to him.
He's come around, though. He said The Shining is a good movie. It's just not a good version of my story.
Right.
And I think that's the right take.
That's just a factually true take, because both things can be true. It is a terrible adaptation of his book, and it is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only bad if you're going in expecting the book because you're not getting it.
Yeah.
But no, it's but Stephen King also has a lot of like all the Frank Darabont adaptations he likes. There's others. I
think what's interesting, which happened, I mean, with Stephen King with Shawshank Redemption and stuff, but like Philip K. Dick, these are always short stories, and it's really easy to do. Well, I won't say it's easy, but like you can make a really satisfying sci-fi short story with a really high concept and get out in like 20 pages or less. And I think that's a good move. And you can understand why some Hollywood executive is like, this is gold. We'll put Nick Cage and Julianne Moore and Jessica Biel in this and it'll be a hit. And it's like, but what is this? It's a 20-page thing. And then, I don't know, they did a line of coke and we're like, what if it was about terrorists? Because what was this, like 2007? So everything was about terrorists then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely right. I would submit that every writer that does both short and long fiction, their better stuff is their short fiction. I
Yeah.
think that's true of Stephen King. I think that's true of Leo Tolstoy. I think that's true of even Kurt Vonnegut, who's one of my favorite authors. His short stories, I think, are even better than his novels.
I mean, Slaughterhouse-Five is a banger, but
Oh, no, he has amazing novels, but I'm saying like overall.
and also look, like Shakespeare, his sonnet's better than his plays. We all know it.
Yeah, let's just put it out there. You know,
Yeah.
like dude could write a quatrain is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's right. And I think that, you know, oftentimes one of the problems that people have when adapting like full length novels is you have to edit and you have to cut and you have to trim in order to make it fit like the standard movie runtime, or you make it a TV show like Game of Thrones. But they didn't used to do that. They used to just try to make movies. And that's one of the problems with adaptations is that they're cutting stuff and they're figuring out like what is the central story. And usually there's like no fluff in short fiction. You know, it's pretty to the point. It's pretty direct. You know, it's all killer, no filler. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think what's really fun about short fiction as like a genre is you can do something that's really audacious and just get in and get out, you know, like,
yeah, you don't have to deal with the long-term consequences of anything.
yeah. And I think, you know, obviously to make a movie that's satisfying, there's a lot like you have to, because that's the other thing. You can have characters that aren't developed. You can do a ton of things in a short story because it doesn't matter. Like, we don't need to understand who the guy is who can see 2 minutes into the future. I wouldn't be surprised if the Philip K. Dick story is just in the diner or something. Like, we get a little bit of lead up that he has this power and then he sees the girl in the diner and then he meets her and then it's done. I would believe
the
that's
stories from the girl's perspective and you see it through her eyes, this guy with this weird future telling power.
It's just about a guy who's sitting at a counter at a diner and he's staring at her for 10 minutes because he's running through all of the 2 minutes in the future. But from her perspective, it's just a guy with an absolute blank expression staring directly at her.
He's just in a fugue state. Just
and he doesn't realize that there's nothing he can say that won't be creepy because of these past 10 minutes.
And so then the moral of the story is pure honesty. He just tells her the complete truth. And she's like, you know what? That oddly checks out. Let's get married and have lots of babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie was almost fun. Had fun parts.
Yeah. And I think we covered why to malign it. I don't know if there's anything else specific that you want to malign or if we just want to get to those fun parts.
Other than like, I think Julianne Moore is horribly underused.
Well, she's a cartoon villain in this movie that then gets redemption, which I didn't understand either. Like, she's not a good character, but we're supposed to be rooting for her.
Her character is not a good person.
Yeah. Well, her character is insane because her character, it never once occurs to her to just like try to recruit him. And like, until she's like, I'll die standing here unless you save me. But it's like, maybe if you didn't send the entire tactical unit every time you went to talk to him and you just like approached him like a human being and were like, hey, look, I know that like you have a lot of reasons not to trust me, but look, there's a nuclear weapon that's loose. And I don't know how your special magical power works. Maybe it's very specific to 2 minutes of your own future, but like, can you just come in and maybe help us?
And we're going to hook you up to the Ludovico treatment from A Clockwork Orange.
But that's what I'm saying is that like all of her moves are just like, you know, immediately like drug him, kidnap him, like, you know, pry his eyes open. And it's like, he should be running from you. You're terrifying.
Yeah, maybe it's a more interesting story if she's like it's a known quantity within the FBI that she's the worst FBI agent. So they just give her this dumb assignment to like brush her aside. And she goes about it in the most horrific way possible. And this movie is just a slapstick comedy with all the same plot beats. And then eventually they stop the nuclear weapon. So she becomes a hero. And it's the Julianne Moore redemption story. It's a better movie already.
Yeah. Or like just give him a scene where he's like you know, I've seen 1,000 possible futures, and not in one single one of them did you ever just say, hey, could you please help me? Are you aware of that? Like, it's insane. You know, no matter what I do, every time you just send guys to swarm. And because that's the thing is, like, the reason he runs from her in the first place is because they show up at, is it at the garage or wherever he's hanging out with Peter Falk? But she shows up there and talks to him, and then she sends a tactical unit in to capture him. That's why he's not there when she does actually show up, because he saw that future, so he runs. But it's like he wouldn't have run if you didn't do that.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
And especially because literally the selling point that she has, I realize the movie as written couldn't happen this way, but like the sales pitch she gives him is true, which is like, there's security footage of you waving a gun in a casino and then you stole a car. I can make that go away if you help us. That is the pitch.
Yeah. Or I can do all this cloak and dagger bullshit and and pad out the runtime.
Which is a shame, because when we do pivot, what I think we're probably going to get to is, I think a better movie, like I said, is the Starman movie, where it's just, I enjoyed this stuff with him and Jessica Biel. I would have loved to spend more time with them.
Yeah, no, I would have done the same thing. Yeah. It makes a lot more sense and it's a lot better. And this movie's just weird. Because
there's so many things too, like there's so many bits of if he tells her that he has the power, you know, there is a scene that I liked where he's explaining it and he's using the television to show her, I know what the channels are going to say before I change them. But like, we never get to spend any time with like, what if you love someone who has this power where it's just like her trying to trick him or like do something different, but he keeps seeing into the future. And every single time she's like, I bet you didn't know I was going to say this. And then it's like the same thing that she said the previous time or something, like, you know, or it's, you know, she tries to throw him a surprise party and she gets pissed. Like, you come on, it's impossible to throw you a surprise party.
It's like, yeah, I bet you can't guess what I got you for Christmas. Sweetheart, come on. We've been together 20 years. I know what you got me for Christmas.
That's where you have to get like really insane, where to get him a Christmas present, you have to wrap it in a box that takes 2 minutes to open. Like every present is a puzzle so that he can never see 2 minutes ahead to know. Oh, but also, look, before we pivot, the other thing we should talk about is the movie's real specific about he can see 2 minutes into the future and then just throws that all out at the end. And he sees like hours, if not days into the future by the end of the movie, and with no explanation.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of hinted that he had some weird tie to Jessica Biel's character, and that could be why. But yeah, that was a weird choice.
I think having sex with Jessica Biel gives you the ability to see several days into the future.
If that were the case, Justin Timberlake wouldn't have gotten arrested for drunk driving. I'm just going to put it out there. So,
I mean, you're not wrong.
Try again, Murphy.
Oh, good times. Pivot? Do you want to pivot?
I mean, I've again seen 2 minutes into the future, and it does not get better than that exchange that just happened. Yeah, the action is pretty solid in this movie, all things considered.
No, I think the scenes, again, I don't know if I really sat there and thought about it, if they make a lot of sense from a like however his powers work thing, but the opening scene where he's escaping Vegas security, the end that isn't the real end, where he's just dodging the bullets of the terrorists and he's telling the SWAT team what to do and all of that. All of that was like really enjoyable. The scene that we played at the beginning where he's dodging all that. He's basically Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, dodging the punches of the bully. I wouldn't want to fight me neither. You know, like.
Yeah, I think no, I think and that could be interesting because like someone that can see 2 minutes in the future, can be very valuable on like missions, but they're not going to actually be able to find the nuclear bomb that's hidden in the city somewhere. They might help you like get into the compound to disarm the bomb, but they're not going to find the bomb.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it had worked like the way that Julianne Moore wanted it to work, he would have been locked in a room with his eyes pried open. And the only hope would have been if they already had a tactical team less than 2 minutes away from wherever the bomb was released that could get there in under 2 minutes to stop it.
And I mean, you know better than I do, but I'm pretty sure that nothing is 2 minutes away in Los Angeles.
No, everything is really easy to get to.
Oh, okay. That's funny. I've heard otherwise, but that's
It's like,
good to know from an Angelino.
Yeah. It's like I live on the east side, but I go to the beach all the time. Like it's really, I just pop in the car, 5-minute drive. I'm in Santa Monica.
Sure.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That sounds right.
There's never any traffic. You would think a city this big, there'd be traffic.
You think second largest city in the country,
Yeah.
not a lot in the way of public transit and a large sprawling metropolis. You'd think there'd be traffic, but no, huh?
No, it's crazy. That's why I'm like, bring on the Olympics. We can handle it. Like,
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
that's a good call. I can't wait for 2028.
Me neither. It's going to be great here. It's going to be so good. You're going to be able to get everywhere all the time and stuff will be cheap.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, good time to be in LA.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be such a good time to be in LA that I feel like I should leave to give someone else that experience, to make room.
You're a saint, Joel Murphy.
Yeah. Because I know it's going to be good. And I definitely want to see all the Olympic stuff.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Anyway, Peter Falk's
in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How insane is it that Peter Falk is in this movie? For no reason, for one scene.
For no reason. Was he just there that day?
Yes. And 100% he was hanging out with Nick Cage.
And crushed it. Was hilarious and great and everything you want out of a Peter Falk cameo.
Yeah, he gave him some shit about like, she didn't have a calendar? He gave like a little like sassy because he didn't know the date. That's how we found out that he didn't know the date. And then like he got to smack talk Julianne Moore when she showed up.
Yeah, again, always good to see Peter Falk.
He fucked it out of the park. Like
he fucked it up. I mean, let's be honest. He fucked it up the way only Peter can fuck it up.
Yeah, no, I didn't know he was in this movie and I got so excited when he showed up on the screen.
No, same. Like I was, this movie, again, at worst holds your attention. Like it's not boring ever.
Right. Yeah.
But man, did I get pumped when Peter Falk showed up.
Yeah. Also, look, silver lining, it was about 90 minutes, which is always a silver lining. We'll always mention it.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, listen, if it comes in anything under the 2 hour mark, anything under the hour 45, I'm here for it.
Yep. Yeah. Enjoyed that.
I'm never gonna complain about a movie that's 97 minutes long.
Nope.
I'm just not. Get under that 100 mark and you're perfect.
Yeah.
Change nothing.
I enjoyed Jessica Biel in this movie.
Yeah, she was probably the most interesting character in the movie.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene actually was when she was supposed to drug him and she just kind of makes the decision to be like, look, I'm probably crazy, but you know what? Let's just, I'm going to let you go. Like, I'm going to let you escape. And then I'm so in that I'm going to drive this car off this cliff and throw all these logs at these FBI agents.
In for a penny, in for a pound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what just occurred to me? I'm sorry. I know we pivoted, but I just had a moment and I'm sure they thought about this, and I'm not one of those like CinemaSin kind of guys. I'm not trying to like point out stuff that was bad about the movie, but if the whole thing where Nicolas Cage was like, "Oh, I messed up," and he, the bomb goes off, and then so the reveal is like we play it all the way to the end. The nuclear bomb goes off. He realizes he made a mistake, and then he's back in bed with Jessica Biel, and he gets another chance to do it over, and he's like, "You can't go, okay." When she got kidnapped by the terrorists, he was still playing it out. He could have stopped then.
But the audience couldn't.
But you know what I mean? Like if you were in love with someone, Andy, and yeah, I know. It's tough.
All right.
Yeah. Just play it. Imagine. Just play along.
All right. I'm let me get in character. Okay.
Yeah. So you're like in love with someone, and she gets kidnapped by a terrorist. Would you? And you can see into the future, or you could just stop the thing that had her get kidnapped by the terrorist. Would you sit there and go like, well, let's play it out. What happens when the terrorist gets her?
I mean, I like to roll the dice.
Okay, you are a gambler. That's why we, in our friend circle, we call Andy Kenny Rogers because he's the gambler.
And I love chicken.
It's insane. It's an insane thing to be like, well, let's see if it works out.
No. Wait. Let's just see how this plays out. I will say, I did like, and almost a more interesting movie is the day-to-day implications of being able to see 2 minutes into the future and just like how that guy lives his life. The fact that he realized there's a certain amount that he can win gambling.
Yeah, but even then,
to like go unnoticed.
It's
and
funny.
Then immediately, it's the day that he gets noticed.
Right.
Of course, in the movie.
That's what I was going to say is we get that voiceover, which I thought was great, but it immediately undercuts it by having him mess up and get noticed.
Yeah.
But yes. I think the version where we spent more time with him, like just his life, I don't think there needed to be this big looming nuclear threat. I think like you said, the day-to-day mechanics of his life are infinitely more interesting than.
And I think outrunning the federal government is the better story.
Right. Again, Starman.
Like that's all the antagonists you need.
Yeah. Yeah. The real villain is the FBI.
ET.
Yeah. That's what
just ET.
Yeah. It's just ET. And in the end, Jessica Biel puts Nicolas Cage in the basket of her bicycle.
You tell me you wouldn't want to see that?
I would watch it. I got a phone home.
Just phone home. Just phone home.
Elliot. Also, just the scene where Nick Cage is hiding among all the stuffed animals.
And just screams at Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. I want some goddamn Reese's Pieces. Ah! A lot of people forget that that's a line from E.T. when E.T.'s like, E.T. want some goddamn Reese's Pieces.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is what he says.
Yeah. Which like, it's weird because people got upset because of the product placement, but I was like, it's weird that you guys don't care that he's saying this dialogue. It's strange.
Yeah. It's weird that he just started screaming the alphabet.
A, B, C, D. That's all you have to do. That's my ET.
D, E, F, G, H. I'm impressed that he did it without singing the song.
That's why, I mean, Cage is I feel like you'd say that to Nicolas Cage. You're like, oh, I thought you were going to do the alphabet song. He'd be like, the alphabet song? What's that?
Someone made a song about the alphabet. Genius. Make it so easy for kids to remember.
Has he ever done Sesame Street?
Oh, man. I bet not. I don't even know. Neither would surprise me.
I hope he has.
Neither would surprise me because I feel like him interacting with Elmo would be. Or we do a live action Sesame Street where he's cast as Bert.
I told you, no crackers
I don't know who plays
in
Ernie in
bed.
that. I just want to play with my pigeons. I don't know. I think that'd be interesting.
I'd watch it. Just him in that sweater, the Bert sweater.
Yeah, and he has the unibrow, and Ernie's played by, I don't know, Seth Rogen. Why not?
I mean, they both do laugh a lot.
They have a very distinctive laugh. It's not the same laugh, but it's distinctive.
How disturbing would that be if Ernie had Seth Rogen's laugh?
Hey, Bert.
That'd be terrible.
I don't know. I think live action Sesame Street. I think there's money there. I don't know.
I mean, I think Sesame Street is live action Sesame Street technically,
but like not Muppets. Like
Yeah, yeah.
cast actors as Muppets.
yeah. I say
And then
reverse.
Muppets as the humans.
That's
Just
what I was
flip
gonna
it.
say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. If you're gonna, you got to reverse it. So then all of a sudden Grover, or not Grover,
Gordon.
Gordon. Thank you. He's a Muppet now.
Right. And Gordon and Maria and Luis and yeah, they're all, I was going to say Mr. Roper. That's not the name of the grocery store guy. That's from Three's Company. But no, yeah, they're all played by Muppets, and then humans are playing the Muppet characters.
But also, I think you also stumbled into another great idea, which is Three's Company, but it's Muppets.
I mean, is Don Knotts still Mr. Roper though?
I mean, you can't replace Don Knotts.
No. So I'm here. Yeah, Three's Company, but Muppets.
Okay, but what Muppet is now Jack Tripper?
I mean, the easy answer is Kermit.
No, but
'cause he is
Kermit
the sort of
doesn't have the
protagonist
right.
Muppet, but that's not.
No.
I could see it being Gonzo and have it be Camilla as
It's
Suzanne
three
Summers.
chickens. It's three chickens, and or what is it? Two chickens and Gonzo.
Two chickens
and Gonzo.
and Gonzo.
I think that's good. I think that's a good pitch.
I think that's that. I think we did it. I think the Three's Company is Muppets, as Don Knotts as himself, and then Gonzo as Jack Tripper, and then two chickens as Suzanne Summers and Joyce DeWitt.
Come on, knock on our door.
Silver Linings Playback is a production of HoboTrashCan.com. If you enjoyed the show, please rate or review it on Apple Podcasts. Hear more great shows on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network.